Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, bootlicker, shills, debt slaves, serfs, peasants, vassals, minions, meat sacks. I'm a useful idiot. Welcome. And so the question is, did Israel use a tactical nuke in bombing the munitions site in Syria? And there's a lot of good reasons to suspect they did. And one, of course, is when you see video of the blast, it's really huge. I mean, I know there's a lot of munitions there, but the blast is just gigantic. And then the fact that it registered at 3.5 on the Richter scale. So um, that kind of impact to create basically a small earthquake, once again, seems to be some kind of evidence that maybe a tactical nuke was used. And then there's also measured residual radiation. And there's not a great deal of radiation, all things considered, but still, when you look at all these factors, and it can kind of make sense in the sense that if Israel was going to use a tactical nuke somewhere and try it out and find out exactly what their capabilities are, bombing this site in Syria makes a lot of sense because they can do it and they don't really have to answer to anybody. And that brings up a question for me that's really curious is all this stuff that's going on in Syria, and we're not really hearing any reaction from the present Syrian government. And I don't know if that means they're not saying anything or there's just basically an information and media blackout, which would seem to be the case because the fact that the U.S. is bombing ISIS sites all over the country, the fact that Turkey is creating and occupying a border zone, the fact that Israel has moved far beyond the Golan Heights and is occupying territory, the fact that a third of the country is still occupied by 2,000 U.S. troops, and the fact that we've had over 500 Israeli airstrikes destroying all of their military capabilities, and we're not hearing any kind of reaction from the Syrian government, as it were. And so that seems really odd. So it's not inconceivable that Israel used a tactical nuke in Syria, and we're not hearing any reaction from the Syrian government. And you think we would. So I don't know if information is going to come out in the future. Are they going to go to the site and find all the characteristics of a nuclear strike? Is there going to be a huge spike in radiation in that area? We may never know because clearly there's no information coming out of Syria, and if there is, it's being censored. But I go back to my main point, which is Israel certainly capable and willing to use a tactical nuke. They've talked about it before, and Syria would be a great spot to do it. So anyway, I just wanted to comment on that because if they did use a tactical nuke, obviously it's a big deal, and there should be international outrage and condemnation, and that is also lacking, which once again shows that if Israel was going to use a tactical nuke, using it in Syria is the best case scenario for them to do it and not have to answer to anybody like they ever answer to anyone anyway. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too?